I know you've told the Mayweather story hundreds of times.
You know what's funny? When I first met him, I was upset with him because I came in, I was like starstruck. I was like, "Yo, what's up?" And I came to give him a pound, and they gave me one of these. And then he's like, "Yo, where are my people at?" And the people he was working with before me were there. So I'm like, "Oh." So I'm taking everything out with diamonds and bringing it to him, and he's looking at me like I'm crazy. I don't even know how to help this guy. And another guy comes and takes over, and we didn't say words to him. I'm never talking with this guy, you guys. I'm so disappointed. He comes in a month later. And I just...
Greg Yuna, the globally renowned New York jeweler and artist making sophisticated and high-end craftsmanship. His artistry is sought after by A-list clientele, including Rihanna, Drake, and Michael B. Jordan.
You know your gift, or you have to know.
What's the gift?
You're a world-class relationship builder.
Thank you.
And your superpower is how vulnerable.
I think that's the only way. I want to connect to people. I don't want to be so in a place where people think I'm here and it's like there's no connection. So I never saw status, you know? My goal here is to see everybody else without people.
How do you want to be remembered 100, 200 years from now when you pass away?
Well, I want to be remembered as like somebody that...
So Greg, my guy, I appreciate you coming out. And Naj told you, our mutual friend, that we start this episode, every episode off with leading with legacy, something physical that ties back to your legacy. So I see you brought something that's hard to hide.
Yeah.
So please tell me first.
Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it very much. This is something that, you know, I always felt like the pieces we made were so intricate and so just quality driven. That, speaking of Nas, she was always like, you have to frame this and have like a show, do like an art show. And I was like, I don't know. It's not really like, it's not my thing. He's like, trust me, frame this stuff and let's get an art show going. So I started framing some of my jewelry, and we had an art show. It was a hit, and I was attached to all of them. I didn't want to sell any of them. So I brought them back home, sat on them for a little bit, and as I move forward in life, I've been giving out to people that I admire.
So let me ask you something, because I think it's a good segue, and this is beautiful, by the way, and I appreciate it. So do you, like, as far as your legacy, because that's the whole theme of this show, like, do you want to be known as a jeweler, or are you a creative that uses jewelry as a medium?
Exactly, that's what it is. I'm a creative that uses jewelry as a medium. I feel like I don't know what my end goal is going to be. I'm very much winging it in life, just like everybody else is. And I don't know. Let's see where it goes. And it's exciting for me. I like, you know, I have some shitty days. Sometimes I have really good days, but on the shitty days, I'm like, you know what? Let's see what tomorrow's about. Right. So I'm always like, let's do one day at a time. Let's get through today. So I don't know. That's how I've been living my life.
Because some of your biggest moments are, or some of your biggest activations are just you being a creative, right? Like your 6th Avenue photo shoots, like that. It's circled back to your jewelry. That you know, your medium, but it was like something that was different. It was different. It stood out. It drove attention.
I always like being disruptive, whether it be jewelry, personality, or just the guerrilla marketing, right? So like the 6th Ave photo shoots we were doing, it brought a lot of attention. It's like, all right, well, who is this guy? Is he a pop star? Or is he like a jeweler? Like, what is it? So it's like, there's no really, I don't want to be just one thing. I feel like I'm a multifaceted human being.
Right.
And now we're doing the 6th Avenue Shoes 2.0. Now I'm making these little like classic movies that I love growing up watching, and I'm incorporating jewelry into it. So instead of photos now we have video and directing and all that. So I have a really incredible team, and again, bringing it, just putting it together. See who we could get, just like you, right? You're pulling Naj to see who you could get. I'm figuring it out the same way. So I'm hollering at everyone like, yo, can we get this person? Can this one come? Can we make it happen? And just like winging it, and at the end of the day, it's going to be alright. Everything falls into place.
All right.
You know?
Yeah, I think just watching and I've always seen your stuff and seen you moving, and I think one of your gifts, and like I told you, like what drew me into you was I heard a snippet, and it was just you being vulnerable. And it was like the regardless of your station or where you're at socially, like you're still comfortable enough to be vulnerable and express. And I've heard you do it more than once since that clip.
I know who I am. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I want to connect to people. I don't want to be so in a place where people think I'm here and it's like, there's no connection. You know what I mean? I've been in a place where I'm like, wow, like, you can't even touch these people. But then when you get next to them, you're like, you know what? They're actually a good human being. And I feel like we're living in a world today, again, like everything on social media is everyone's highlight. You know, I think it's just all bullshit.
Right.
And it's okay to be broke. It's okay to be, you know, behind on payments. It's America. Everybody's in debt. And if they tell you anything different, it's bullshit. And I don't know why I keep saying it, but winging it for me has always worked. It's just always worked. So even when it doesn't work, it just, everything, you have to think about what was the worst day you've ever had? And not death, but like the worst day you ever had. And think about where you are today. Everything is always going to be okay. You agree?
I agree.
Like the worst day, you're like, yo, fuck, what am I going to do tomorrow? Fuck. And then like a month later, it's like, oh, damn, shit. You know, it's okay. How bad can it really be if it's not death?
Now, as connecting to, and let's start from, being of Russian origin, living in Queens, in that melting pot, and like talk about like what sort of brought that. Is that a part of the humble upbringing? Like,
yeah, I mean, my parents were great. I watched my dad say hello to like, when we lived in Forest Hills, right? Like I watched my dad say hello to the janitor, to all the way up to whoever. Like it was never, they never looked down on anyone. And for me, I thought that was amazing. So I was always like, hey to everybody as a kid. I was the kid that was always like, what's up? So I never saw status, you know? And I don't know, that's a code I live by.
right.
For me, status doesn't matter. You could be the wealthiest person in the world and be a piece of shit.
Right.
Or you could be a janitor that's just an incredible human being that helps kids and just like, you know, words of wisdom, I don't know. But it's that. I look for that quality in a human being. You know when someone's a good human being. Easy. I read that. And I collect that. That's it.
And do you navigate how you work with people today that way? Like,
my whole life
down there working with somebody?
Absolutely. You know how many rappers, I'm not going to mention any names, you know how many rappers would come to my store and just like, they just got on. Maybe a year in. And they're hot, popper. And then they come in and just the entitlement. For me, it's a turnoff. I don't care about the money. I'm just not, that's not what I'm here to do. You know?
Yeah.
Anyone that I've worked with, I've genuinely liked and enjoyed working with.
So now when it ties, because it sounds like most of the decisions you make for yourself is based on energy and or even morals or values, the core principles you have personally. Now, would you say you would like your legacy to kind of point back to, like, I made decisions based off intuition?
Yeah. Always. I mean, intuition for me is key. It's always worked for me. So I was able to navigate through that. And then I don't want to change anything. It works.
Now, let's talk about one of the biggest intuitive decisions you made. I know you were pushed by one of your good friends, Mayweather, to leave a shop that you were working in. What'd your intuition tell you in that moment? And like, are you happy? Obviously, you're happy.
Yeah, I'm happy. It's just, again, it was a lot of insecurities as a businessman. You know, I wasn't so familiar with the business part of it.
Imposter syndrome?
Never really had, I talk about imposter syndrome sometimes and I feel like, but like, I don't know about imposter syndrome. Sometimes I'm like, yo, shit, how the hell did I get here? But not, I don't belong. You know what I mean? I feel like everyone in the world, wherever they are, they belong. I don't know. The imposter syndrome for me was never a thing.
So you were saying once you transitioned from working for someone, you were a little unsure because of the business,
I just didn't know. I was entering a space where I didn't understand too much of the business, and it forced me to get involved and you know what I mean? I had to sit down and, okay, all the fun stuff and the photo shoots and the going out, kicking it and getting the clients in. I had to stop and I had to focus on the actual business part that like, I don't like dealing with the boring stuff.
All right.
So in a way, it was good because I was able to sharpen my tools, but I think for me, that was a bottom. That ended up being a beautiful thing. And I feel like everyone grows, especially myself, in the place where you feel low. There's a lesson in that. So for me, it was just, it pushed me to get involved, understand, make mistakes, mess up some money, more mistakes, a lot of L's before anyone saw the wins. And, you know, it ends up working out.
And I know you've told the Mayweather story hundreds of times.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to spin it a little bit just so people
Right. It's already like, all right. We're going to talk about Mayweather,
but I mean, that's still as it ties to your legacy.
It's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
He's just,
Tell it in shorter version than you've told it.
It's just, you know, what's funny? When I first met him, I was upset with him. Cause I came in, I was like starstruck. I was like, yo, what's up? And I came to get my pound and he gave me one of these.
Yeah, one of them.
I'm like, all right. And then he's like, yo, where are my people at? And the people he was working with before me weren't there. Everybody stepped out. It was like the first time I was by myself in the space.
Right.
So I'm like, shit. So I'm taking everything out with diamonds and bringing it to him. And he's looking at me like I'm crazy. I don't even know how to help this guy. Mm-hmm. And next guy comes and helps him out and he stopped talking to me. And I'm like, I just charge all my homies like, you know when you ask somebody for gas money?
Mm-hmm.
I just paid for this pay-per-view fight. I just charge all.
What fight was that?
I think it was him and Ricky Hatton.
Okay, all right.
We're blowing the roof off in my mom's house.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like we had a great time watching. So when I saw him, I was so starstruck. I'm like, I couldn't believe. I'm like, yo, he's really not like, I was upset. I'm like, I'm never talking to him again. He comes in a month later and I just finished making these like rosary beads. It was like my first couple of pieces that I've made. And he comes in and I'm like, all right, what? He looks at me. He's like, yo, those are nice rosaries. I'm like, these? Thank you. And I got excited that he was even talking to me and he gave me a compliment on that. And then we built off of that.
Right.
And he's like, let me get that. And I'm like, yo, I have 4 more here. He's like, let me get all of them. So it was kind of like
now, was that your design, the rosary?
Yeah. It was a rosary. I love rosary beads growing up, but I come from a Jewish home, so I wasn't even aware.
Right.
And so I swapped out the Mother Mary and put a Jewish star there. And then instead of the cross, I put the hand of Fatima, the Hamsa.
Right. But
it was black diamonds, sexy shit.
Yeah.
And he fell in love with them. So he bought them in every color I had.
I remember that.
So, yeah.
The people started knocking your shit off everywhere.
Yeah. You know, it's funny you say that. I used to get so upset when I would see my stuff down the block. I used to get so mad. I had drama with Raffaello, like the Avianas and actually Avianas are good, but the Raffaellos and the Pristines and all that, you know, when they came there, because I was just so angry because I wanted to dominate this space. And me being young, stupid, naive at the time, I didn't understand how that could transition to flattery at the time, you know?
I'll elaborate on that, because that's me teaching.
And I'm not saying they copied.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about that. I'm just, we all had our differences there. We're all cool. It's family. It's love. I'm just, at that time, I was so competitive because I just got into this space. And when I got to 47th Street, I didn't see anyone there as a rival. I was like, okay, who do I feel that I'm going after? It was Ben Baller and then Jacob the jeweler, who was like out of here. Mm-hmm. But I'm not even worried about these people.
He's also Russian.
Yeah. He comes from my culture. We're Baharian Jews. So we're Russian speaking Sephardic Jews.
So you had to.
Yeah, Jacob was the first one out of, you know, from our culture that was just like the guy. Still is. Very much respect his business moves, you know, but once you get into the industry, it becomes competition.
Mm.
And I never in my life thought that Jacob would look at me as competition.
Has he ever embraced you?
He never embraced me, but he tried to use me to sell a watch to Floyd, which I ended up selling 2 years later. You know what I mean? But like, just it was bullshit. It was, whatever. I made the sale and I never got my commissions, and then I ended up getting hooked up through somebody who made the sale happen.
Mm.
So that worked itself out. But, like I was saying, he was the first person in our culture to make it out. And then Ben Baller was the one in our culture,
mm-hmm.
you know, that I saw that I'm like, okay, this guy understands quality. This is what I'm going after. So I was going after Ben Baller.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And when you're in that space and you're bubbling or anything, we're all just like, everyone's just like, it's one of those worlds where everyone's watching each other and very competitive. And for $500, they'll do you dirty.
Mm.
$500.
It's crazy.
I would have did it for free.
So, all right. So
that's not competitive.
I knocked you off track. So Floyd came in, bought 5 rosaries.
Mm-hmm.
How did that relationship progress from there?
I just started like, while he was doing the business part, I was kind of connecting with everybody that he was with, his whole entourage. I genuinely, I was like, all right, I want to know, who are these people? There's 20 people here. Who are they? Why are they here? What's going on? Who are you? I was just excited. Again, I'd say hello to everybody.
Yeah.
So I just got cool with everybody
around
behind the scenes, his right-hand man, his security, Waters, whatever. I liked them because like he was doing business. I'm not so much understanding that part. I'm just like, okay, this looks good. Here you go. Have fun. You guys work out the carrots and the price. I'm gonna chill with these guys. Who wants water? Who wants this? What are we eating? What's the plan? Cause he would sit there for hours just bullshitting.
You know your gift, right? You have to know.
What's the gift?
Your gift.
What's the gift?
Cause some people are tall and play basketball like Wemby. Some people are strong and big and they can be on a defensive line or O-line or fast. Like I think yours is 2 things. And sorry, pardon me if I'm speaking.
No, please.
You're a world-class relationship builder.
Thank you.
And your superpower is how vulnerable you are.
I think that's the only way. I think people connect to that. When I'm coming, if I'm going to ask you for something, I'm not going to be like, yo, hey, how you doing? What you doing? How's your mom? Yo, by the way, can you do this for me?
Mm.
Just don't waste my time. If you need something, call me. Let me know what it is. If I can do it, I can. If I fuck with it.
Mm.
If I can do it, I will. If I can't, I'm busy. I don't want to hear, don't ask me how my mom is. What do you need?
Mm.
You understand?
Right.
And I feel like when it comes from an honest place, people read that. People aren't stupid. They know how to read.
Mm-hmm.
People know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Their body's calculating the algorithms and all that's going on. So it's like, it's when it comes from a genuine place, I think people adapt to that and like, you know what? I like this guy.
So you,
No motives.
right. And that's how you've operated.
There's no motives. I don't need anything from anybody.
Cause you weren't even connecting with Floyd. You were connecting with everybody.
But I don't, like, for me, there's nothing that, like, I love Floyd for what he did for me for business, but like, there's nothing anybody could really do for me. I'm a happy kid.
Mm.
I don't know depression. I don't understand depression. I get sad sometimes when some shit goes down, but like, I don't understand that. I'm cool.
Right. I also heard you another vulnerable moment where you were actually sitting with one of your close friends, Ronnie.
Mm-hmm.
Ronnie Five of Kith, for those of you who don't know. And you were on the couch and you were just explaining like, yo, I was at the dinner table at Tao one time. I'm sitting, Victor Cruz. That's also,
Mm-hmm.
I love Victor.
That's my bro. That's another one.
I told you pick a certain kind of friend and he's in that same pocket.
Yo, I didn't tell this part of the story. Anyway, Ronnie was somebody who brought me in. I didn't want to be his friend that he brought in. That's like, all right, what the fuck is this bum doing? Even though I looked the part, like I just didn't want to embarrass him at that space. So I didn't say anything. I just met Victor Cruz like a couple of months before that. And I was still getting to understand the space that we're in. I still didn't understand. After we leave that dinner, we went
After you got to tell the story about that.
All right. So what happened was I was at a table with Victor Cruz, Ryan Feig, and Scott Disick, and a couple other people, a couple other players. And I had like $175 in my pocket, 100,000 on my neck, and probably 50,000 on my wrist.
Mm-hmm.
People thought I was on. People thought I owned the jewelry store. I'm negative like $1,000 in my bank account and I have maybe $200 in my pocket. Maybe.
Mm.
And I'm just counting the shots that they're bringing to the table. And I'm like, if they ask me to pay, I would be mortified because I don't have any money. besides this 200. And if the bill is like 4,000 and I come with this $200, not only that's the last of my money, it's a joke. Thank God Ronnie paid the bill that day. So I'm thinking, yo, he got the whole night. We're on. We're going to One Oak now.
Oh,
We're chilling, having the best. I'm having the best time. I'm drunk. Bill comes. Victor Cruz gets the bill. And he taps me. I'm over there. I'm chilling, dancing. He taps me on the shoulder. Like, yo, the bill's here. I look at him. I'm like, fuck. I literally, you know what I told Victor Cruz? I said, I know you don't believe me. You probably think this is some crazy shit. I'm like, I know you don't know me like that. I'm like, I swear to my mother, I am getting everything together right now. I have $200 in my pocket. I will give you this money. And the moment I get paper, I'll pay for this whole bill. I'm just fucked up right now. He looked at me like this. He said, man, it's all good. Every time I saw him after that, and you could ask him, every time I saw him after that, in any club, I had a bottle ready for him. Every club. It was to the point where he's like, yo, dude, enough. When I was on.
but that's a classic Vic.
It's like,
Sound like
it wasn't a problem.
right?
He even think he was like, hey, whatever, bro. Who cares? It's all good. And he probably was just like, yo, are you good?
Nah, I
He
think
looks crazy.
no, man. I think we gotta, Greg, bro. I think we gotta zoom out because that's you being you again.
Right.
You being somebody would have tried to weasel their way out. You turned around and you were honest.
Yeah, but I don't know what type of time he's on, what he listens to, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
This is Victor Cruz in his prime. He just finished signing I don't know how many $1 million contract. I'm not a sports guy.
I did all right.
He did incredible.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm like, all right, we're here. Like, I wasn't thinking he would pay the bill, but I was just like, all right, these guys, they got it. Whatever.
Yeah.
We're in One Oak. I fucking had a drink. You know, I just killed the whole bottle. But like, I'll never forget that he did one of these, and I'm like, hey, he's like, in Bill's here. I'm like, oh my God. So it went from having anxiety at the restaurant to just like really having my armpits were wet. My head just right up, sweat.
Right.
Embarrassed.
Yeah.
But I said, once I get this money, he's good. That's my brother for life.
So talk to me about, let's tie this all back to your legacy, because it seems like you've had a series of moments where your vulnerability helped you prevail, or even your relationship building skills. Like your relationship with Nigel Sylvester is one that's emerged in a way that's like, this is dope because Greg is just a friend that's like all in on seeing his friend succeed.
Yeah.
You don't see that shit.
Because, well, there's never been any slick talk. Like, not even when I'm being funny with him. There's no, like, I want to see this kid. His win is my win.
Right.
You understand? Like, that's real brotherhood. You can't, like, that's hard to find. And he does the same for me. And when it's like that, it's like, all right, we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's a unit.
Yeah.
Ronnie too. Ronnie gives me the plays all the time. Not only is he my best friend that I knew since I was 12, he's also a mentor. I respect him so much because it's like, he really knows what he's doing. He's not one of the guys that needs the spotlight. He'll let you have it.
Right.
He wants to stay out the way.
I had the pleasure of meeting him at the Hype Beast 100 dinner in Miami one time. And I think he's talking to Jeff Staples, also a good friend, and a bunch of other people in his industry, like fashion. And I'm just like, just getting into the business. I brought Lyft as a sponsor there. So that's how I kind of got involved with Hypebeast. So I'm like, yo, Ronnie, fucking enamored with just how he's creative. And Ronnie, you got a second? He spins off on all his friends. It gives me 20 minutes.
That's the beauty of him.
Spins off on all of them. And he's only asking about me. Yeah. So what do you do? So what do you want to do next? What's going on?
He's so like,
never got a chance to see him again, by the way.
You will.
I will.
You will. He's just one of those people that gives people their time because he's been in your shoes before. Everybody's been in that shoe.
Right.
You're not the only one.
Right.
Everyone. Me, him, Nigel, we've all been there. And if you're appreciative of what you have going on, you have to respect that space, you know? But there's only so much you could do. But I have a lot of respect for these kids.
Yeah.
Nigel is like on another level, right? He's in orbit, you know? And it's like, there's nothing better. we went from being inseparable to both having so much going on that we can't even, but it's FaceTime.
Right.
Talk every day. And then it's just like, I'm in a different country. Now we're in different countries. Now it's like, it's international. And it's just, we laugh about it because it's like, we're here. We're still having these conversations. Like, no one knows that. We're like, no, dude. And we're like, it's just, it smiles, you know?
Yeah.
And it's beautiful to like, anytime we do get together, we chill and we have a moment and like, we're just vibing on whatever we're talking about. And he's like, yo, I'm trying to do this. And I look and I'm like, all right, what's going to happen? A month later, it's happening. That's beauty. That's talking things into existence. I'm happy to be here.
Let's talk. So how do you want to be remembered 100, 200 years from now when you pass away?
I want to be remembered as like somebody that always puts smiles on people's faces, man. Just, just a good, silly, just, good energy kid.
So you're Greg. Mm-hmm. You're just using jewelry as an outlet.
Yeah. I mean, I landed here. I like to be creative. I have a good team. I have a very good team that's super creative. And, I just want to see everybody around me. I already won. Mm-hmm. Forget the money. Forget anything. I'm not talking about the money. I'm talking about in just my soul. I won. So I want to see everybody around me win. Everybody who's really around me for me, I want to see them win. I'm going to help them win.
So if there was a museum, would it be, you would be happy with it just being all the people that I saw win?
Yeah, I'm sure.
It doesn't have to.
No, because I helped.
Need to do
I helped
with you.
Nah, man, I'm not, I do me, and then I want to see everybody around me win. That's it. My goal here is to see everybody that's around me win.
So are you creating cause you're creative.
Mm-hmm.
Your 2.0 stuff, like the 6th Avenue. Are you calling it 6th Avenue 2.0?
No. So I had this young lady so when we opened up the store, I had this young lady by the name of Sakai Benny. She's an actress. I didn't know that at the time. She started working for me. And in my head, I'm like, yo, I gotta start like getting back into like my creative space because the store kind of beat me up a little bit, like going from a bespoke jeweler to now I got to make things for the masses. I never really paid attention on making small stuff because it wasn't a money maker. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to make the big stuff, make money, keep moving. It's not sustainable when you have 15, 20 people working for you. That custom piece you made for $500,000 or whatever, it doesn't go far. When you're by yourself, cool. But when you have 15, 20 people working for you, it doesn't really do anything. So anyway, we hired this young lady by the name of Sakai. I had no idea she was an actress. I didn't know anything was going on. And I'm like, I need to get back into this creative space. And I'm starting to do these little movie clips that we're doing. And at the time I'm directing this, polling everybody and getting everybody in the room trying to make this happen. And it's a headache. I invited her to come just come through, come kick it, be an extra, and we'll figure it out. She came in, she's like, do you mind if I take over? And I'm already stressed out, just trying to tell people what to do and what's going on. The way she came in and handled everything, I didn't realize that she had that rapport already. She was already in that space. And her execution in this was A1. So I'm in a place where like, I could step off from this and get into my little acting thing and do what I gotta do while she loves handling it. So it's just a perfect dynamic.
Yeah. So yeah, she's fun, man.
Yeah, I'm having a good time. And she loves doing that. So it's like, why not give somebody who loves doing that, do that?
Is there any part of what you do that's not fun?
I try to make it as fun as possible because I love doing what I do. Yeah. Yes, there's moments where it's like, all right, this isn't fun, but like, I'm living a dream.
Right.
And I want everybody around me to live that dream. There's nothing worse because I've been in a place where like, damn, I'm working for somebody. I hate it here.
All right.
And I wish the person I was working for was just a little lenient and understood what was going on. Right. So I try to be that person that I wanted. I try to be that person who I needed as a boss to the people that work with me.
Right. So is there anything that you haven't done yet that you want to put out in the universe? Like, yo, if I do this, then like, that's my Super Bowl. I got my ring.
I'm figuring it all out.
I'm figuring it out.
Of course. There's so much. I wake up one day, I'm like, no, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And then we get into the financial freedom part. It's like, all right, well, do we have the budgets to do that? Mm-hmm. Because I could very much go broke today and tomorrow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of learning over here that I'm doing.
Are you ever going to stop learning?
No, you don't. As a human being, you can't. I'm also like learning about myself a lot. You know?
What's been different since you launched to today? Like, obviously, you've navigated great relationships, like with Mayweather. And, like, what's been different from inception to literally today, where you just got off a plane from going to Giorgio Armani with your best friend and y'all partied? What is different from when you first started to today in Greg and in business?
I mean, Greg is the business. You know what I mean? But like being able to get off a plane. So Rachel Goatley, who works with me, she's my creative partner, and Jay Frost is my COO. Without them, it's nothing's happened. You know what I mean? They run the show. Like Rachel, we bounce back creative stuff. Jay's overseeing everything, and it's beautiful to be able to hop off of a plane and not worry about the work because it's handled. There's nothing better than people that care about the business and want it to succeed. And for me, that's like, it's priceless. That's all I could ever ask for. And again, I just want to see them win. I'm just happy that everything is happening and I can just kick back and be creative again. I'm back in my creative space. I feel good.
So from inception, you'd say you didn't really have an opportunity because it was a little cloudy, and now
there's a lot going on.
Have more room to be creative.
Absolutely. So much, we're opening up a store. We got to be, first of all, what's going on? We're not used to the space. We just left 47th Street. We're a fish out of water. Like, what's going on? If somebody I could catch somebody from the Diamond District that wasn't even there to see me on the way out. Like, hey, you looking for this? I got it. Or they come see what I have, and they buy it. This is a whole different playing field. So now we're just trying to figure out like what our groove is, we're working everything out. And now we got it in a healthy space. And now we're like, all right, we got it.
So in closing, I explained to you how and I'm still super impressed, bro. Like the level of vulnerability that you're open with sharing, and then also your relationship skills, right? But it's the vulnerability for me, man. And like, what message or what could you share with people who think like you said, we've all been in those shoes, like from stuff, like what message do you have to people that think they need to pull up in a black car they can't afford and buy the clothes they can't afford and flex on their friends? And like, what sort of message do you have for a person who's not living as transparent as they can? Or do you think there is value in that?
I think, you know what? I pulled up in the car that I had the Rolls Royce Wraith. I couldn't afford it. I was barely making those payments, but like people saw me at a level where it was like, all right, it brings something. I made it happen. I was struggling with the payments. I made it happen, but like, fuck, like also I needed it for the ego. Felt good, waste of money, but good for marketing. So it's not a waste of money. I don't know. It's kind of like,
I guess it was a loss leader for you and your business.
I had a good time. Plus I'm a car lover, but also like there's so many things that I got into that I couldn't afford, but it made me have to afford it. Sometimes I throw myself a shit like, why did I do this? And it's like self-sabotage. It's like, why did you just buy this? These payments are crazy. And I'm like, oh, fuck. But pressure. I work good under pressure.
Yeah. What message do you have?
I just think people should be kind, right? I think everyone has too many egos and it's just too much cool shit going on. It's not that deep. You go to a club, there's a group of guys, it's like, yo, dude, come have a drink. If you walk in with two of your friends and I got a bottle and like a whole bunch of people there, and it's like, I don't want you to be uncomfortable, have a drink, man. Chill out. Not like, yo, who are these guys? That needs to go away. The moment we could stop that I feel like the world would be a better place. It's just that simple. I think we have it all wrong. There's too much this shit going on. Whatever that is. But you know what I'm talking about. Right. It's not necessary. If you could throw that out, get rid of that, I feel like everybody would get to where they gotta go.
Greg, I appreciate you, my brother.
Thank you.
Seems great, man.
Thank you.
That's great.